He's Rob Manfred, the 10th commissioner of Major League Baseball, taking over for Bud Selig, and Commissioner joins us now. Commissioner, how are you?
I'm great, Dan. How about you?
Are you an NFL fan?
I'm a fan of all sports. I really am. I like basketball. I like football. I watch golf. I'm just a big sports guy. I always have been.
Do you have a favorite NFL team?
I grew up a Packer fan.
Well, don't sound disappointed. Well, maybe you were disappointed with what happened in Seattle.
Yes, I was a little disappointed, actually.
But can baseball learn from what the NFL does and how it markets its sport?
Look, we pay attention to what all sports do. I think when you stop paying attention to your competition, you make a huge mistake. And I think there are things that we can learn from, what the NBA does, what the NFL does, even what hockey does. And, I'm sure that the opposite is true as well, that those sports, there are things that we do that would be good for them.
Give me your job description. If somebody said, what do you do for a living, you would say what?
You know what? I usually stop it. I'm the commissioner of baseball, and that stops people in their tracks. But in terms of the way that I think about my responsibilities, first and foremost, I think it is my obligation to make sure that we put a quality, competitive product on the field in all 30 of our markets. It's what we owe our fans. It's what our game is about. And then, there are subsidiary things that flow from that. Obviously, you can't accomplish that overall goal unless you pay attention to the economics of the game, generate enough revenue, make sure you have the right labor deal, and all those things flow from the primary goal of making sure that we put a quality entertainment product on the field everywhere.
The younger audience, fan base.
Yes, sir.
How do you attract that?
I think that it's important to do three different things that we're focused on right now. Number one, our research shows that the best way to get an avid fan, the most important determinant of whether Rob Manfred's going to be an avid fan is whether or not he played the game as a kid. And that's why you may have heard all this talk about, being more active in the youth participation space. Secondly, I think we need to take advantage of some of our natural strengths. People talk about baseball's audience skewing older. The fact of the matter is we need to get that audience to take kids and grandkids to the ballpark at an early age, because the second biggest determinant of whether you're going to be an avid fan is the age at which you go to the ballpark for the first time. Mm-hmm. And then I think the third thing is technology. We need to use our world-class technology company, MLB Advanced Media, to provide not distractions, but enhancements to the game that are attractive to young people. I think one of the things you're going to see this year is a new product that we call StatCast that provides real-time video information that can be enjoyed during a broadcast or in a ballpark, that provides real explanation of what's going on the field and why a particular thing happens. And I think it's going to be the kind of technology that's really appealing to young people.
He's Rob Manfred, the new baseball commissioner, joining us at Dan Patrick Show. Did Will Ferrell have to get permission to play baseball yesterday?
Yes.
Did you talk to him?
I talked to him yesterday. We had conversations about this event for a number of weeks. You don't do something like this on a spur of the moment, but I approved the undertaking yesterday. I thought it was fantastic, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Really entertaining for our fans. And, at a time of year when, the games don't count, baseball's relaxed, and can be a really, really fun time for our fans.
We've seen this before, though. I think you had Garth Brooks, who played a little baseball.
Right, that's true.
How often does this come up?
Oh, not all that frequently. I mean, I can, in the time that I've been involved in baseball, I can only think of a handful of times when it's come up.
What if I wanted to play?
You know what, Dan? We might work with you on that. How about that?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Sell me on the National League adopting the designated hitter. If you were going to make the case for the DH in the National League, what would you say?
Look, if you were going to you're asking me to make the case for something that I don't necessarily support. So let me be clear about that
okay.
at the outset.
Okay.
Well, but I think the case for the DH in the National League is good to have one set of rules. The designated hitter rule has become really universal, with the exception of, amateur, professional, whatever. With the exception of the National League, it'd be great to get everyone playing with a single set of rules. I also think you can make an argument that it would be a good thing in terms of adding offense to the game. I think those are the two principal arguments in favor of it.
If I said you could have, you had to decide between National League DH or American League losing the DH.
I think that, me personally, I would rather see the National League go to the DH. But I want to be clear about this. The difference between these two leagues, with respect to the designated hitter rule, is not something that has ever caused me a lot of dissonance or concern. I think it generates debate, as to which is better. And one thing that I have found in my few weeks on the job, when people are talking about baseball, when they're debating things, that's a good thing for our sport.
If you could have kept A-Rod out of the game permanently, would you?
Oh, I'm not. That would require me to second guess a decision that a man that I have the utmost respect for made, Commissioner Seelig, and I'm just not going there, Dan. Thank you.
How much time have you spent on the Pete Rose topic?
Well, on the substance, I haven't had an opportunity to spend a great deal of time answering questions about Pete Rose. I've spent a great deal of time. I get asked about it frequently, but I really haven't had a chance in this initial flurry of activity for me to dig into the voluminous record that was all developed before I was at baseball.
But could he be put on the ballot without being reinstated, not allowed to have a job?
Well, I guess the way I would answer that question is this. We have our ineligible list is designed to serve a purpose. That is to protect the integrity of the game by ensuring that, someone who has had an issue like this isn't allowed to work in and around the game. It is, in fact, just intellectually, a separate question as to whether that same ineligible list should determine whether you're eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Because they are separate. The Hall of Fame could they are kind of choosing to coincide with baseball because they could put him on the ballot, right? The Hall of Fame could.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that.
Okay, all right.
You are absolutely right about that, and I will give you a lot of credit on that one, Dan. That's the first time I've been asked that particular question with all the questions, because there is a subtle difference there, or maybe not so subtle. There's an important difference.
Yes,
there.
I agree. Speeding up the game, I guess I'm troubled by it because I think it's more of the pace of the game, not that there's going to be a 3-hour window or 2 hours and 27 minutes or whatever. There can be a long game that's a great game because the pace is great. So is there a difference between speeding up the game and just having the pace of the game be better?
Yeah, I think a really perceptive question. I have not been, I've been talking to players about pace of game as I've been out in the camps, and I've been really explicit with them. This is not about changing the average game time from 3:03 to 2:53. Mm-hmm. That really is not what it's about. What it's about is removing delay in the game that people find to not be particularly entertaining, that's not relevant to the competition on the field, so that you have a nice flow to the game. I am not wedded to the idea, and in fact, our Pace of Game initiative could be completely successful without the average game time changing
True.
by a single second.
True. I agree. The Josh Hamilton situation.
Yes.
It can be black and white, I guess, if you're looking at suspending him. But then there's also, can you factor in the human element of what is going to be best for him, the person, not just Josh Hamilton, a guy who relapsed?
Well, look, I'm going to be careful here because I need to, ultimately I'm going to have to make a decision with respect to Josh. What I will say to you, putting Josh Hamilton to one side,
okay.
That there is a difference between discipline for the use of a performance-enhancing drug, which is, I think of as a form of cheating, okay, on the one hand, and discipline with respect to an individual that has a problem with a drug of abuse, because obviously the latter is a disease, and you have to have a different mindset.
What is your time frame for a ruling?
Well, part of that's being dictated by the internal processes required by the basic agreement, but in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Where will you be opening day?
I'm going to be in Washington on opening day for the Nationals opener that Monday.
The coolest piece of memorabilia in the commissioner's office is what?
Oh, you mean my personal office or the office as a whole?
Yeah, either.
All right. Well, I have never been a huge memorabilia person, but I do in fact have one of a very small number of baseballs that President Bush signed the night that he threw out the first pitch in Yankee Stadium after 9/11. That is my personal favorite and the coolest one I have. In terms of the office as a whole, I've always thought the World Series trophy was kind of the be-all and end-all. and it's sort of, Dana, it's kind of funny. It's like a informal survey because it's the thing that when people come through the office, that's what they want their picture taken with.
Did Commissioner Seelig leave anything by accident in his office?
Well, it's funny. The way our office is set up, Dan, the office space, there are two mirror image offices that are exactly the same size. I took one when I became chief operating officer, and the other one was obviously Commissioner Seelig's. And because I'm sort of a creature of habit, I stayed put, so I didn't technically move into his office.
You know what I'm thinking you do? You do Casual Friday, where everybody wears a uniform, including you.
Can I tell you, we have a great display here in the commissioner's office. I don't know if you've ever been in here, but we actually have a great display.
You know the last time I was in there?
When?
Bowie Kuhn, when he was clearing out his desk.
But listen, why the heck don't you come and visit me?
Is there beer?
Can I tell you something? I will make arrangements to have beer for you, okay?
Okay, but I don't come solo. I got to bring my Danettes as well, Commissioner.
Listen, you want to come, you're welcome with whoever you want to bring, okay?
And we can get pictures with the World Series trophy?
We will.
I love it.
All right.
Hey, be safe when you travel on opening day, and thanks for joining us.
Listen, I enjoyed it, Dan, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
All right, that's the new commissioner, Rob Manfred.